We're broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios.
Visit MTE.com.
Middle Tennessee Electric, serving to make life better since 1936.
This is a WGNS Action Line. Talking with Rutherford County newsmakers
since 1947.
This is a WGNS Action Line. Now, your host, Scott Walker.
This morning, we're joined by Murfreesboro Parks and Rec. And with us today, we have got Rachel Singer and also Lynn Caldwell and Thomas Laird. How are all y'all doing this morning?
Doing well. We're good.
Was it raining out there when y'all came in? I haven't been paying attention.
Not when I came in.
Yeah. You know,
it's
we only
been
have
sprinkling. I think it's about done, hopefully.
Good. We only have 2 windows up here. Isn't that weird? We got one in the back and then one in the front, and that's it, you know?
Yep.
That's what happens when you're sandwiched between. Yeah, that's
Maybe
right.
your new office will have lots of windows.
That's right. We're aiming for at least 3, you know? No, we have hope to have more than 3. But man, you don't notice you miss windows until you go home each day. And then you're like, man, where are all the windows?
Right.
Anyway, so what's happening within the parks right now?
A lot going on. I mean, spring has sprung and the ball fields are busy. The playgrounds are really busy. The trails, the greenway, it's happening.
What is the most popular trail you'll have? I mean, outside of the Greenway, what other trails are more popular?
I mean, Barfield trails, the wilderness trails, they're just covered up.
Yeah.
So especially as the weather changes and gets nicer, you know, people are just itching to get outside. So, yep, that one's probably our most popular one, I'd say.
Yeah, especially during the summer because you see so many people, you know, walk down to the river, bring their dogs with them. Never seen anybody bring their cats or anything, just mainly dogs. Have you really?
I have seen a couple of people bring cats.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes in backpacks, like the clear backpacks.
Yeah.
But we had a guy, I can't remember the breed of a cat. It was, you know, some kind of exotic cat.
Yeah.
And he had this whole backpack made where it had a ledge on it. And so his cat would sit up there, like on the ledge, and he would do all of the trails.
It's like a dedicated cat owner right there.
Right?
Man, so a specially made backpack for his
Yes.
imported cat of whatever
Right.
kind.
Yep.
That's wild.
We've had people bring their pet parrots for a walk.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh. You know, I was in, I think it was Louisville one time, and there was literally a guy walking down the street with a pet tortoise. I mean, it was huge. You know, it was walking next to him. As you can imagine, he was walking slow. Haven't seen that yet at the parks, have you?
We've had some loose tortoises in our parks.
Yeah? But big ones?
So
or?
big ones, yeah, like those sulcata ones. And they usually have gotten out, you know, like dug out of somebody's property and then either end up in a... I don't know. One time we had one at Old Fort, so I do think somebody brought it there.
Like just left it? That's different right there.
Yep.
Man, is it even legal to own these giant tortoises? I mean, I don't know. Never checked into it.
So it depends on the species that we have here. Some species you're able to own them here. So it used to be Tennessee, you couldn't own any kind of turtle, but our laws are changing.
Do y'all have a lot of snapping turtles at the river?
We do. Yes. I love snapping turtles.
I see them every once in a while if I'm like canoeing or kayaking or something, but not very often.
Right.
I don't know if there's fewer of them today or what.
I don't think so.
No, they're still out there biting
still
and
there.
snapping.
Murphy Spring, we've got several of them, and it's kind of neat because that boardwalk, and you can just look right down on them. So they're really active right now.
What's wild is how old some of these turtles are. I mean, they can live to 100 plus years.
They can.
Isn't that crazy?
Right. So
We
don't have a pet turtle because
they'll outlive you.
Down by our office.
Right.
Yeah, we had one down by our office that we saw.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine some of these animals out there living that long because most animals, you know, it's like a 15-year lifespan or so, and then you have turtles.
Yep, that have like a similar lifespan to us.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right.
Anyway, so what other kind of animals can folks see this time of year as we get closer to the hotter days?
So I'll just put a plug in. We're getting a lot of calls for, like our orphaned animals, our injured animals. The Wilderness Station does not rehab animals, but we like to try to connect people and give them the best information. So reuniting is the best way to go if that's an option. So that's what we always tell people, especially as the birds are fledging. Don't kidnap the birds and the bunnies. The parents are usually by, giving them lessons, and good-hearted people kind of try to step in and, chase down animals to get them rescued when they don't need to be rescued. So, but some animals do need help, and we've gotten a lot of calls here recently, and that's anything from... we had a screech owl that was hit by a car. We had a injured snake yesterday. Lynn really liked that one.
That was great.
We had an orphaned gosling. Got him back to his parents. So yeah, just a little bit of everything. But it's springtime.
Hey, now, is it true there are certain animals, maybe birds for one, if you touch them, pick them up, and if they happen to be a baby, the mom, I don't know, smells that human scent?
That's actually an old wives' tale.
Not true, then.
Right. So that's what we tell people all the time. Don't listen to that in the back of your head. And those maternal instincts are really strong. So, even if they smell human scent on it, the drive is they want to take care of their babies.
Yeah.
So
because I'm thinking, when I had little kids, if somebody touched my kid, that smell, I'd probably still keep them. Yeah,
See,
yeah, so it makes sense, I guess, when you think about it. But yeah, it does seem like you always hear stories about people taking animals to the Wilderness Station.
Right, I know. And we don't have a good rehab place close to us. The best one is Walden's Puddle. That's north of Nashville. There's another one on the west side of Nashville. As far as large facilities, we've got some people that do it out of their homes. But it's just hard. Someone, especially if an animal needs help, and we try to kind of put that back on the rescuer to make that trip up there.
Yeah.
I wish we could take them all up, but we just can't.
I mean, that's a drive for sure. We have a elephant rehab facility, I guess you'd call it. On the other side of Nashville, towards West Tennessee? Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Have you been there before?
I haven't been there, but I know the owners of it. They used to work at the zoo, and they're great people, and they've done a phenomenal job.
You just got to wonder, how did that come about in Tennessee? I mean, we don't have a lot of elephants here.
I know, but we have a lot of land. So
that's true. That's
That's how that happened.
And then how do you ship an elephant to somewhere like Hole in Wall, Tennessee?
Right.
I mean, that's definitely special packaging right there.
It is special packaging. Yep.
It's interesting.
Big trains and trucks and.
Have we got any facilities for like lions or tigers other than the zoo?
We have tigers, Tiger Haven.
Really?
In East Tennessee.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
And so they rehabilitate tigers and stuff?
They do. They rescue them mainly, taking them out of entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I guess you don't think about a whole lot, but man, on top of that, you've also got folks out there who come across and they buy exotic animals, and then the animals get older and they realize this wasn't a good idea.
Commitment, right? Yep. Yeah. And they a lot of times don't know what they're getting into.
No, monkeys, I would say, are one of those number one things you hear about.
Right.
And a wild animal ultimately is still a wild animal.
Still wild, right.
So kind of a scary thing to take in. I
know. I think people like the idea of it. And then when they start to kind of get into the nitty gritty, it's not as glamorous.
Yeah. What was that old movie with Burt Reynolds? Was not Cannonball Run or Smoking the Bandit? It was one of those movies.
What you're talking about. I can't remember the name, but yeah.
He had a pet monkey in his semi-truck with him.
Yes.
I forgot what it was called, though.
I just remember Friends. Ross had that monkey.
Yes.
I didn't see that episode. Was that multiple episodes?
It was.
Yes.
Was it really?
Yes.
A couple seasons, even.
Wow. Well,
you need to go back and rewatch.
I missed that whole couple of seasons, and that's funny.
Right? Marcel, there it is.
Was his name.
That was the name of the monkey, Marcel?
Yes.
That's funny. So what else is happening within the parks outside of the animals and everything?
We've got Special Olympics coming up next week. On Monday is the Rutherford County area schools, along with all of our adult special needs community, will come together. I think we've got close to 900 athletes over the 2-day event.
Wow.
Starts on Monday. That'll be the elementary school. And then on Wednesday, we'll have high school and adults.
Those athletes who are part of that, they're so dedicated. More so than what I would look at NFL teams to be dedicated. I mean, they love it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And there's ongoing programs now where they're training. We have several that'll go on to compete at the state games in June. And then we've got 2 athletes that are going to the USA Games in Minnesota this year. One that's competing in track and field and one that's a swimmer.
That's cool. So are all of the Special Olympic events, are those under the umbrella of Murfreesboro Parks and Rec, or is it part of the county school system?
Well, now that Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation hosts the Special Olympics, the big county-wide event, and that's everybody that wants to participate within our special needs community. And then we also, Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation oversees the development of athletes to go on to compete at regional and state level. We host several competitions through the year as well.
If somebody wants to get involved in that, or maybe they have a child, maybe they're not from here, but they'd like to get involved and have their child involved, how do they go about doing that?
Absolutely. They can go to our website, murfreesboroparks.com, and just kind of look for youth events. We have Special Olympics and Advantage Sports. They can also go through the Special Olympics Tennessee website, and it'll redirect them to us. And then, of course, our program guide has all of our Advantage Sports and Miracle League and all those other programs.
That's probably a great place to start. So whether you want to play baseball or with all the different Advantage Sports we have weightlifting, we have bocce ball. What else do we have?
Yeah, they'll have cornhole in the fall, flag football, cheerleading.
Golf. Actually, there's a golf tournament, I think, Friday. For Special Olympics, yeah.
Okay.
The other thing we really want, and we've really been working hard, is to really grow the crowds out there at Special Olympics. A lot of people ask us, how can we help? How can we get involved? And the best thing you can do is to come out on Monday or Wednesday and sit in the crowds and just cheer these special athletes on. We had a lot of people come out last year, and we're hoping for the same thing. So like businesses or groups of friends, just, get a few people and come out. We have the torch run, which actually starts at the police department, and they run a bunch of different special officers run with the torch from the police department down to MTSU, the Dean A. Hayes Soccer and Track Stadium, and they run that in there. Then we have a parade with starring Homer, and then all of the athletes. And Monday is elementary and middle school, so that's a big day.
I know there's always a big push to bring those crowds out there to participate and support those who are out there, participating in whatever the game or activity is. But how does that make those who are part of the Special Olympics feel when they look up and see there's a crowd there cheering for them?
It's heartwarming, definitely. But, for the athletes themselves, we try to create a world-class event. And that's one of the things that the community, we really have to lean on the community for, is to have those fans in the stands. Because it's awesome for parents to be able to take pictures and stuff, but a lot of these kids have never had that onslaught of a large crowd cheering for them, and a lot of the parents have not heard that for their children. I had a lady one time that came to us, it's been a few years ago, but she was so happy that we announced the athletes' names before the race and then after the race, and said that was the first time she had ever heard her child's name that wasn't over a hospital intercom.
Yeah, that'd be a tough spot to be in. I mean, because some of these kids, their life is only so long. So I can't.
Exactly. And they enjoy every moment. I always tell our staff and stuff, we get the best of them, though. We get to see, their best day. That's some of those best day there. And, I'm glad we can all be a part of that.
And because Rutherford County is growing so fast, I'm sure a lot of these families come here, and they come from maybe small towns across the country that they never had opportunities for their kids to really get involved in stuff like this.
Right. We get that all the time with new people moving into our community, particularly with the Miracle League, that baseball program that anyone can participate in, and people that really come from rural areas just don't have that avenue.
And do you have a lot of families who will drive here from other areas just so that their kids can be a part of something like this? Or do you have to be a resident?
You don't have to be. We have several. We've got, off the top of my head, Spring Hill, Columbia. Matter of fact, Columbia now has a Miracle League, but because this young man has been participating in ours for 7-8 years, he's still driving to Murfreesboro, even though Columbia has their own league this year.
It's cool, though. I mean, because you got parents who are that dedicated to their kids to help them, just be able to feel what a lot of these other kids are feeling when they're out there on the field. And I don't know, you don't stop to think about that. I don't think a lot. It's one of those things that people, they really just don't think about until they're in that seat.
Oftentimes people think about the kids, but those kids grow up to be adults. And our largest group of athletes consistently throughout the year are all mostly adult athletes. We have a lot of kids that participate, but even in the Miracle League this year, there's 6 teams, or 12 teams total, and of those 12, 8 of those are adult teams. So every one of the kids, and now that we have programs facilitating that, our adults are growing exponentially now. So Special Olympics on Wednesday, the adults will have their own event at 1 p.m. So we'll do the high school first and then the adults afterwards. And that's really where we could use the community support, is at 1 p.m. on Wednesday.
So this coming Wednesday is in tomorrow?
No, next week.
Next Wednesday.
The 6th, May 6th.
So next week.
The 6th,
And where do people need to go in order to be a part of this?
MTSU, the Dean A. Hayes Soccer and Track Stadium. We'll have signage out there and everything. And it's I will brag on Thomas for a minute. Like it is really run like a world-class environment. And hearing those kids' names, seeing them get their medals, and like Rachel and Nate get to give out a lot of the medals and so forth. And then it's really like all hands on deck for us with our staff. And everybody just says it's one of the best times of the year for them. They love coming out and helping with all the different events. And so that's where we need people just cheering in the stands, and they will love it.
Now, are these things, are these all free for kids to participate in, or is there a charge?
It's all free.
Yeah, and it's free to come to the event. We have had some people email and ask just how much are the tickets to get in, and we're like, it's free. We just want you in the stands. So yeah, just come out and cheer.
Now, if somebody out there listening, if they would like to help out in some way, or maybe there's funding opportunities available, I don't know. But
Area 16 is our local Special Olympics that encompasses all of Rutherford County. And they are constantly having fundraisers or doing things to raise extra funds. So there's avenues for people to donate. But in terms of this event itself, the city of Murfreesboro has kind of taken that on their shoulders to work with partners like MTSU and various groups to fund this event. So it's not a funding issue. City Council's made it clear that this event's funded. We need the support of the community to help cheer on the athletes.
And I meant to say, if you have any questions, feel free to text those in at 615-893-1450, because we do have a question here, and it's asking what amenities are being prioritized or planned for the new park. And I assume they're talking about the Veterans Park.
Yes, we've got some. It's really going to be nice. I think Rachel can speak more on the nature trails and the natural environment, but we've got additional shelters that people obviously will use out there. A phenomenal playground. It's going to be our largest playground ever.
Right.
And you call it a destination playground, right?
Right,
Yes.
it is. And then we'll have some pickleball courts and a festival area.
Event space.
Yep.
Hey, I've seen the pictures of what the playground's going to look, or at least, the ones that you guys released, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's different from anything else that we have here.
It is. It's
including
very unique.
Like a spider web type net that's, about a foot or so off the ground, or what is that one?
I'm not sure on that one. I know that they've got so many elements to it. So they'll have climbing apparatuses, but the neat thing is that they're using the topography in it. They're going to build it up, and that's going to be part of the where you can climb and slide down and stuff. So actually using the land as part of the feature is going to be great.
Yeah, those net structures or cable type structures, they've become really popular. We put one out at Siegel Park, replaced one of the smaller playgrounds within the soccer complex itself, and we find that kids of all ages just love to hang around, climb on those things. So I know that'll be a real popular part of the playground.
It's cool because, there was a while there where we saw a lot of changes happen within playgrounds really across the country. I mean, taking out swings and even slides at some parks, across the country. But here locally, you guys have really kept up with the changes. I mean, you brought in new things for kids to do, and it's neat how you're able to do that.
Playgrounds are constantly changing and evolving, and like the technology and the materials and what they can do with how they look and what they offer is just amazing. So we're fortunate that we've been able to replace several of our aging playgrounds and kind of gotten in on that forefront of it, so that the community can have these great playgrounds.
And how the playgrounds are laid out is even different from a typical school playground. I mean, the curves and the concrete and then whatever material y'all use that's underneath the playground itself, it kind of prevents that, skinned up knee from happening.
Right.
Yeah, they're amazing. So, and each one is a little bit different, and the different manufacturers offer different things, and we've got a wide array of different manufacturers in the park system. So, each one is unique.
Now, the piece of property where the playground is actually going to be, is it like a rubberized material underneath all the playground equipment, or what do you have at this new one?
It's a combination of different elements. I think there'll be quite a bit of the turf. That's kind of the trend now going.
Kind of like AstroTurf type.
Right. It's called playground turf, so it has a padding and it offers the fall protection. I guess the warranty is the biggest thing. It lasts longer than the old pour-in-place rubber. And then, of course, there's always what they call pre-engineered mulch.
Okay. Yeah, it's like that rubber mulch.
Well, right. Or just, some areas, at some playgrounds, we have just standard, they call it pre-engineered mulch because it's cut so it's, it's not splinters and things like that, but it's just wooden mulch.
It's wild how different some of the turfs are, like at a soccer field versus a turf that may be at a soccer field out of town. And I didn't realize how different they were until I think we were in Hendersonville or something at one of the parks there, and their AstroTurf feels totally different from the one that we have here. I mean, they really can vary a lot.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of it is the care taken into the turf. They do a really good job at Siegel Park with those soccer fields, at grooming them and just keeping the infill in and making sure that everything is consistent. And then others, the quality as well, like our field at Old Fort. It's a unique turf on the infield that's called a true hop, so that the ball bounces true to form. And then the guys just do a great job of maintaining it.
And I bet it really does cut back on some of the injuries you would have seen at just the regular type turf field.
Oh, absolutely. They're sliding at Old Fort again.
And speaking of Old Fort, you guys have done a lot of different things there. And is there still construction underway at Old Fort, or are there new
We got
fields?
a few little projects going. I think tomorrow they're coming in to install some more shade structures over at the tennis complex in the 16-court complex. And then we've got a drainage project we've got to get started over the summer on the backside of the old tennis courts. So I think there's continuous projects going on, but we're getting it close to a renovated park.
Another question we had here, are there any newly acquired properties that could become future park space that we don't know about?
Possibly.
Top secret right there.
We actually have 3 properties that are in various works of, kind of like the legal part of it. But all 3 of these properties were purchased by the American Battlefield Trust. because they had some significance to the Battle of Stones River. And so working with our great partners at the battlefield, they are not able to accept those properties. And so it was offered to the city to do that. And so we're excited about that. That's just, that's going to be straight preservation, passive spaces. We could maybe build like a parking lot or a pavilion or something, but past that, it's just going to be good walking trails, kind of nature observation, and then interpretation from the battlefield. So we're excited about that. And, like I said, they're kind of on various timelines. And so the first one that we've got coming open is going to be Schaefer Park. I think we've talked about that here, but that's the old GE property. So that one is fully owned by the city now, and just making a couple more amenities before we can open the gates to that.
Now, on that property itself, does that back up to where Cumming sign used to be, or is there a roadway in between those?
Cumming sign? I don't know if
it
I
used
know
to be
where
on
that
Thompson
one
Lane,
is.
near where the park's office is.
Okay, yes, then.
Okay.
Yes, and that'll be the entrance coming in off Thompson Lane.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that'll make it easy then.
Right. And so we'll put signage up and everything when we get there, but yep, that will be the entrance, and then we'll just have kind of a dirt trail that goes around it, a perimeter. It already has interpretation panels out there, so if you drive by, you might see something like that. But then the battlefield has also acquired the piece of property adjacent to it. They don't have that open to the public yet, but we're going to work in tandem with them to tie in a trail system. So you'll be able to walk from the Greenway up to McFadden Farms and then over to Schaefer Park. So lots of connectivity.
All this time I was thinking this is the first, Murfreesboro project that involved the Battle of Stones River, but then I started thinking in Old Fort Park you've got that layout of what used to be, was it Fort Rosecrans?
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
So
yep.
That was one that has been here for quite some time.
It has, yeah. And I mean, I'm really thankful that over the years the battlefield obviously has done a lot of the preservation and interpretation of that historical battle, and then as good partners, being able to take that up too and help out.
Definitely a positive. Another question here is asking about how has Murfreesboro's rapid population growth impacted parks and rec services over the years?
Well, we have just doubled and then doubled and continued to double. I think when I started with the department, we had about a population of 70 to 75,000 people, and so now we're at 165 to 170,000 people. We've increased facilities, we've grown parks, but I think a lot of it is we've just got some really, really good people that meet the need through creative scheduling and just the dedication they have themselves. We've expanded, but nowhere, obviously, we would like to be a lot bigger and have a lot more to offer to the public. But I think we've met the need really well. And the council, that's a credit with our city leadership, is we've been funded well enough to meet that need. If you look at our budget throughout the years through this growth, council has always made Parks and Recreation a priority. And so for us, that makes it easier for us to meet the need.
I remember in the 90s, the population was still around like 49,000 or something. I think up until around 95 or 96, it was still around 49,000 people.
Right.
It's wild how fast we have grown.
I remember driving to Barfield Park thinking, wow, this is out in the country.
It felt like
how is this city? This isn't even close to the city.
Yeah.
And Walter Hill, I mean, that was like...
Never would have guessed Walter Hill would become a city
that would
park.
Be city property.
Yeah. It's crazy how fast we have grown. Now, what year did Barfield Park actually open?
2000.
2000, okay. Because they started on it in the 90s, right?
Right, it was the late 90s, and then the first baseball season was in the fall of 2000, I believe, or maybe the fall of 99. And then the Wilderness Station opened in 2000.
And of course, that park has grown a lot as well. I mean, adding, a mountain bike course and more. I mean, it's really grown.
Right. And then we're fortunate enough to add another 73 acres on the backside of Barfield. And so we've got trails that go through there and more amenities to come on that property.
So how many acres total is Barfield Park?
It's a little over 500 acres now.
That's a lot.
It is.
That's
for
a big
city
park.
property.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big park.
Yep. And like 400 of those acres are what we call wilderness.
Yeah.
So it does have that state park feel. We're really fortunate to have that in our system.
It definitely does. And that's definitely a positive because it does let you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere when you're truly inside the city.
Right. We've got a campground that, families and people can come and learn how to camp, learn how to backpack, and so it's just a lot of neat amenities that you don't see in every city.
I was going to say the campground really does kind of open up that adventure for a lot of people who've never been camping.
Absolutely.
To kind of give them all the ins and outs of it.
Right, and we've got staff there.
Yeah, and I was going to say our programming matches that, and I think there's one this weekend. So like if you want to start camping, but you just don't really know exactly what to do, we have these different nights where it's, campfire night, and we have staff that takes you up there and shows you how to cook on the grill and do the hot dogs and all that kind of stuff, and then take night hikes and then also camp. So
does a staff member actually set up a tent and camp out there as well?
They absolutely do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, so it's staffed around the clock. But then that way, that really does help ease people's minds if they're, if they're apprehensive about it, and then you've got somebody that you can go to. So if you do wake up in the middle of the night for emergency or non-emergency and just need somebody, they're going to be right there.
Cool. And again, we're talking with Murfreesboro Parks and Rec today. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back. If you texted in a question, we'll try to get to that in just a second. Our number is 615-893-1450. Again, Murfreesboro Parks and Rec on the air with us this morning.
Hi, this is Dan with Music World and Drummers Den. Our prices are as good or better than the box stores. I don't think you'll do better by shopping online than you would by coming in. If you're into podcasting, we have starter kits that have everything you need to get started. The interface for your computer, microphone, headphones, you'll be online in no time. If you need a PA, you need lights, we've got all for rent. Music World and Drummers Den, 2762 South Church Street, right across from the golf course.
This is Peter Demas, and our family is inviting your family to come eat with us at Demas's restaurant. We're trying to give them a place where they can eat with their family that's not fast food. We want to create an atmosphere where we can sit down and just have a good old-fashioned family dinner. But unfortunately now, most people can't do it at home. So, two people are working, the kids' activities, and so what we're doing is we provide that, and we make it affordable. Come eat with us at Demas's restaurant on Northwest Broad Street.
Do you want your money to work hard for you? Who doesn't? South Central Bank has 2 CD specials that will help your money grow. South Central Bank has a 5-month CD with an annual percentage yield of 4.15% or a 25-month CD with an annual percentage yield of 3.8%. 2 great ways to put your money to work. You choose the term that works best for you. $500 minimum balance to obtain the APY. Stop at our location at 1602 West Northfield Boulevard in Georgetown Park today and take advantage of our 2 great rates. South Central Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Thanks to Sharing Change, MTE members are making a difference just by rounding up their monthly bills to support local nonprofits. See how it works at sharingchange.org.
The Atlanta Braves play here. I'm Ben Ingram, and you're listening to Middle Tennessee's home of the Atlanta Braves. News Radio WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna.
You're tuned to WGNS, and with us today, Murfreesboro Parks and Rec. Rachel Singer is here with us today, Thomas Laird, and Lynn Caldwell. And one of the questions that we had was asking about the park at Walter Hill Dam and the greenway out there. They said that they live nearby, but it still feels kind of out of the way for them. And they were asking about, is it safe out there? And what is it like today? Because it's been a while, it sounded like, since they've actually been there.
Yeah, that's a great park. And it's getting more and more use. And, with more use, it feels safer. Our park police do patrol it. But it's a great space. And then we've got the Greenway Greenway Trailhead right there at Walter Hill that goes up to Central Valley and then over to Coleman Farm. So lots of kind of added amenities, which is just bringing more people. And then we'd love to, in the future, have even more amenities. So pavilion or playground or, like there's so many options that we could go.
If you haven't been there in a while, though, I mean, she mentioned she hadn't been in a while. It is much nicer. There's trails, and the Corps of Engineers done a good job of repairing the dam and some of those areas adjacent to it, and then the parking, all that's new pavement. It's much nicer than it was.
I know we went by there last year, and there are still a ton of people who go swimming there. There's still a ton of people who go fishing there. I mean, it is definitely used during the summer for sure.
That was an area resort way back.
Yeah, that's what I read about. And there used to even be some kind of ferry boat that traveled from there all the way towards Nashville, way before I guess we had Percy Priest Lake, because I guess the river was deeper before we had Percy Priest.
Right.
And people don't realize that Percy Priest is man-made. If they're new to the area, they have no idea, which is one of those interesting fun facts, I guess.
Yep. And it's really not very far from Walter Hill.
No, it's not. I mean, you could canoe or kayak there if you wanted to.
I have, yeah.
How many miles of trail of the Greenway Trail do you have out there at Walter Hill?
So it's about, it kind of does this lollipop, so you can get 3 miles in.
So about 3 miles at Walter Hill, and that's all paved too, isn't it?
It is. It is. And it's a different feel from the rest of our Greenway. So it's probably one of my favorite sections of Greenway, but it follows the ridge, and you've got great views of the river, but you're not right next to the river, and so you're in a lot of hardwoods and super shaded. It's beautiful.
I know one of the things they mentioned, asking if there's any plan for a playground out there, and I'm trying to picture. I can't picture where a playground would be. I know there's a big open space, but does that flood sometimes?
It can, yes. We would have to be strategic for sure.
You'd have to build it up like a really tall playground.
We have plans.
Right.
Whether they materialize or not.
Now, American Idol. I know I overheard something during the last break about American Idol. What is that about, Lynn?
Yeah, this is pretty exciting. Jordan McCullough is a Murfreesboro native. I think he went through all of the Oakland, the elementary school there, Oakland Middle and Oakland High School, graduated from Oakland High School. And he is a finalist. He made it last night into the top 5. So we have one more week to go. And if he makes it next Monday, May the 4th, then they will be bringing him home for a hometown visit.
Okay.
So the city is going to plan a parade and a big free concert and just all kinds of exciting stuff. And he's going to get to really showcase Murfreesboro, all of his favorites with his family and things like that. So we're really excited about that. We obviously need people to vote, so everybody needs to put that on their calendars to watch American Idol next Monday, and let's help bring him here, and we can just show off Murfreesboro and all that we have.
So are they going to do a little video on next week's show about Murfreesboro?
I don't know exactly about that, but
the week after.
It will be the week after
okay.
where they will come here.
Okay.
And film. So if he makes it, he'll be flying in, and then everything will be happening on Wednesday, May the 6th. So that's going to be a super busy day for us with the Special Olympics, and then going into that. We will have everything on our website, and we've got some things on social media now and stuff. But just like how you can vote, it's very easy. But I think the city's really getting excited about it.
So if he does a concert, where would that be in Murfreesboro?
It's going to be downtown on the square on Main Street. So we'll have the map and all that kind of stuff. We'll have the parade route and everything so that people can know exactly where to go. And it'll be downtown.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And speaking of downtown, I know the Town Creek, the daylighting project, that's still underway.
It's moving along nicely.
That's exciting. It's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be nice. And once that is complete, I assume Parks and Rec will be the ones who kind of oversee it, take care of it, make sure it
there's still some conversations around that, but I think it'll be some kind of partnership where we'll keep it looking beautiful, and it'll be a nice corridor between Discovery Center and Cannonsburg.
I think that's one of the best ideas that the city has had over the years, because to have a little waterway, water attraction in downtown Murfreesboro, that's something that most cities don't have.
Right. It's going to change that area
greatly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can kind of see the layout right now of it, and it's going to be cool.
Right. We're excited.
And I guess folks can wade in that creek because it's going to be pretty shallow, isn't it?
Yeah, there'll be some different levels to it, but all in all, it'll be shallow.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And again, we've been talking about the Murfreesboro Parks and Rec this morning, and we got like 20 seconds left. So if anybody wants details on anything coming up, where do they go?
Murfreesboroparks.com. Real quick, Barfield Beach Party is this Friday, and that's become a really big event. 60 tons of sand brought in at Barfield Crescent Park. Your kids can come and play in the sand. There's actually going to be a beach in Murfreesboro, 5 o'clock on Friday.
That's a lot of sand.
Yeah, a lot of sand.
5 o'clock this Friday.
This Friday, May 1st. Yeah.
Sounds good at Barfield Park.
Super fun event, 5 o'clock Friday.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
For home restoration at a price you can afford, trust the professionals at Farrah Construction to get the job done on time and within your budget. Farrah Construction can remodel your home or can update your kitchen, bath, or other rooms. I'm Ron Hall. If you can dream it, Farrah Construction can turn it into reality. Call Farrah Construction at 615-893-6120. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Farrah Construction Company.
Hi, I'm Clarissa Smith, candidate for School Board Zone 4. Behind every great student is a dedicated teacher. To keep the best educators in our county, we must support them with a culture of respect and a safe and disciplined environment. When we empower our teachers, our children thrive. I'm Clarissa Smith, humbly asking you for your vote for School Board Zone 4.
Paid for by Friends of Clarissa Smith, School Board Zone 4. Clarissa Smith, Treasurer.